I think no. Actually, my first question was the Premier League for Arsenal. So you've now, not to throw any disses out there, but you've now three-peated the second place, which is the second time Arsenal have done that now. But now, in terms of winning the league, how far do you think you are from winning it? And do you think this season was a major slip up from
Look, I'll be real. This Premier League, right? I don't know what you think, but first of all, credit to Liverpool for that for the ability to go ahead and win the league. Yeah, but for me personally, I actually think this is actually the worst Premier League season in a long time. Reason for that is because the teams at the bottom were pretty much done by December anyway. They've not moved, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps even before that. Liverpool pretty much run away with it, and then you've got the fringe kind of teams that are kind of just competing. And I think for me, it's been the worst season in terms of how far we are. I think this season perhaps was maybe an anomaly, right? And the reason I say that is because yes, we got rid of a lot of players in the summer, but I think if you look over the last 2 seasons, we've never had.
Isn't that just more heat for? By the way, I agree. I agree with you. Terrible season. There's been no relegation battle, right? There's been no title race, and even in regards to a top 4/top 5 battle, the only reason why there's even, like, for example, I'm a Chelsea fan. Chelsea are in that top 4, top 5 battle. I'm telling you now, the only reason why we're even there is because everybody else has been so terrible, right? Yeah. The fact that we're even there, like I watch Chelsea, like we shouldn't be there, right? But it's because everybody else has been terrible that we're even still in with a shout. But isn't that more heat on Arteta though? The fact that
I'm not justifying. All I'm saying is that if we were to analyse why it is the case, it's a lack of depth, right? You got rid of players like Vieira, Smith Rowe.
But that's always been the case with Arsenal, though. That's always been the argument, lack of depth. If there's one injury to someone in the starting 11, but he's basically just done the same thing again.
Yeah, but I think this season, bro, I think if we're going to be honest, we've had 1 keeper and 3 left backs on the bench, right? Ultimately, he needs to take the heat on that, because if you want to compete in all of these competitions, bro, you can't have 3 left backs in Tierney, Zinchenko, and Calafiori all on the bench, right? We've got no one. Sterling's the only attacking player that we've got on the bench, and then I think the only midfielder we've got is Jorginho, right? But I think this season alone, we've had so many injuries in one go, and he needs to take the heat on that. But I think this season, I think it's just an unfortunate one. Yes, we've got a lot of red cards and we've got a lot of injuries, but I think despite that, I still.
But then you're trying to suggest then that maybe the next season.
My expectation
might be your year.
Yeah,
that's your expectation.
Yeah, I think if you take this season aside.
What was your expectation this season for Arsenal and Arteta?
I think I expected us to compete. I actually think
compete or win the league.
I actually thought we would win the league, to be fair.
So then he's basically not met your expectation this year. So then your expectation again for next year is that you're going to win the league.
Well,
bearing in mind that, just obviously I'm just bearing in mind that City will have to strengthen.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
That's not to say Arsenal won't.
Liverpool will most likely strengthen. No, but of course Arsenal might, right? But again, where everybody was weak this season and didn't perform. City with an aging squad. Chelsea is still kind of going through this transition where they're trying to figure out, who their team is. Another new manager, for example, for Chelsea. Man United with a new manager.
I just think that in January, I think the reason why he's not gone ahead and signed anyone is because they are preparing for a big window. I just think if you look at all the teams that are actually challenging him for the title, we probably lack the most depth out of all of them. So. Yeah, I'm not justifying it. I think he should take the heat on it, but I think if we can...
But then isn't that on Arteta? Because here's my thing that I don't get. People give him the praise for getting rid of the dead wood, right? He gets the praise then, but then he doesn't get the criticism for building a squad.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think if they go ahead and win the Champions League this year, that would be the only saving grace, right? Otherwise, I'd consider it a failure. But having said that...
Do you think you're going to win the Champions League?
This is my perspective, right? This is my opinion.
I have to say it now because there's a lot of ifs and buts.
I think the fear factor, right, was greater. Us going against Real Madrid, us going into that game. Reason being is because the team they have on paper, incredible, right? And I think even us winning 3-0 at home, there was a lot of chat saying, "Oh, well, wait till you go back to Real Madrid, right? Wait till you go to the Bernabeu, right? You guys are gonna see Real Madrid have the ability to come back.
Yeah.
If there's any team that's gonna do it, it's gonna be Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
So I think the fact that we've kind of put that to bed, we're going up against a PSG team who, in my opinion, have the same type of experience as us in this competition, which is that they've gone only to a certain level, but they've not gone ahead and won it, right? Yeah. So I think that fear factor, if anything, we've gone ahead and beaten the champions, right? So I think that, and added to that, we actually beat them in October in the group games. Right? We beat them 2-0. Actually, I thought that game could have ended 4-0.
As in when you beat PSG?
Yeah, this season in the group games, right? So I think, if anything, I don't think there's any fear. I think actually we've got a greater chance to go through against this team. My only fear is that with Partey being suspended, we don't really have that holding player.
Is Partey not? It's not. Is
Nah, he's
picked up
off
a
for
yellow
the
card.
first leg.
That's a big, massive
loss.
Massive
his
miss.
ability.
Because everyone was hyping Declan Rice's performance, right, against Madrid, and I get it because of the goals and stuff like that. But it's almost like he couldn't do what he. If it weren't for Partey, he wouldn't have been able to do what he was able to do.
Because that license to
his ability to break through the lines, his ability.
It's Partey who ran that midfield basically. So that is a massive
but
loss.
Having
for
said
you.
that,
I didn't realise
I just think if there was going to be any type of motivation to go into this fixture, then there's no greater motivation than beating the current champions with the team that they had. And the fact that we're starting at home again, sometimes people say, look, it's better to go play the second leg at home. For me, I actually prefer playing at home because I feel like by the time, if you were to pick up a result, let's say you get a win, right? I just feel like by the second game, there's a huge tactical shift. Whereas if PSG beat us at home, I think they would lock up.
I feel like you're only holding that opinion because of the fact that you obviously got the 3-0 win against Real Madrid, which for me personally, what was the score in the second leg? 2-1 to Arsenal.
5-1 on aggregate.
Yeah, so for me, that just goes to show that, I don't know, for me personally, I feel like the 3-0 is an anomaly. Not to say that I don't think you can put 3 goals past PSG, but I think they'll score. I'll be gobsmacked, regardless of the result, regardless of the result of the tie, if PSG don't score more goals against you than Madrid did, which is 1 across 2 legs. So that's why, and that's where I almost feel like, by the way, 100%, Arsenal got their tails up right now like they should, because of the fact that obviously you take that momentum of beating a team like Madrid with the reputation they have over the 2 legs. But so that's why you should have confidence, but it can also work against you because you ain't playing an aging midfield. You ain't playing Madrid who are kind of out of sync. You're playing a team who don't have as many individual stars, but are very much in sync and they're balling right now. They're balling, even compared to when you played them in the earlier.
No doubt they've obviously increased in terms of the quality they've got in the squad now with Kvara and Dembele is back now as well. But I still think that when we played them in October, bro, we were in full control of that game. So for me, I just think.
Are you the same Arsenal though, and are they the same PSG?
Yeah, I think they're taking up a gear, but I don't know. But
I think one thing I wanted to say on that is when it comes to that Madrid game, Arsenal Madrid game. So I already said it in the groups, even in our football groups or whatever groups. I was like, if people are writing off Arsenal, I actually thought you would go through because of how unbalanced Madrid are this season. Like you got Valverde at right back, Mendy was injured, and then you got Alaba playing after he's only come back after a long spell of out on the sidelines. That he's come back.
Who's that? Sorry.
Yeah, Alaba.
Yeah, but Alaba against Saka was always a mismatch.
Exactly.
Alaba, look how old he is. Look how long it's been since he's been a fullback. That was always gonna.
And I think with the experience that Ancelotti's got, I think he made some mistakes.
Yeah,
in
of
that.
course he did.
With not putting Valverde in the midfield, not going with Vasquez on right back, not playing Fran Garcia, who's a proper left back, playing Alaba after such a long time. I think it was a mistake.
100%.
But with the PSG thing, I think exactly like he said, they're not the same PSG. They've definitely stepped it up, and you got Dembele, who's on 30 plus goals I think for the season, and he didn't play in the first leg as well. I'm sorry, he didn't play in the group game against you, and they've added Kvaratskhelia to that wing, and then you now got that midfield of PSG is so well balanced with Vitinha, João Neves, and then you got Fabian Ruiz.
And with you guys not having Partey in the first leg, that's a big loss. So
massive. I still think that credit should be given to Arsenal. I mean, Kivior playing centre back and then no recognised striker as well. So
100%.
I still think, despite that, we still have a strong chance. I actually think we'll win.
You think you'll beat PSG or win the whole Champions League?
I actually think we'll win the Champions League. I think we'll go through. I think we'll go through on both legs on aggregate. But
you know what? I want to see if Arsenal do go through to the final, even though I love Inter, I want to see Barca go there because I want to see Barca do a repeat of the
2006.
Yeah.
I won't lie though, I kind of look. I'm a Chelsea fan. I want Arsenal to go out of this competition as soon as possible, right?
Well, you wanted them out of the group
stage. Yeah, exactly, right. I don't care. I can't have them getting anywhere near that trophy, let alone lift it. Yeah, but. So the longer they're in it, the more anxious I'm getting. I'll just be honest, right? But
and don't forget, bro.
I won't lie though. There's a part of me that kind of wishes they do get to the final, just so that they can just fail.
One hand on the trophy.
Yeah, fail at the final hurdle. Yeah, but obviously it's squeaky bum time if they do get to the final.
Forget, bro. Kai Havertz will come back.
Oh my, yeah. To be fair, he's done it before. So no, and also on that as well, I'd actually be more worried of Arsenal getting to the final against Barca than I would if Inter got there. Because I just feel like Inter's they're so robust, they're so well organised. I feel like Arsenal would not deal.
Hordo against Bayern though in the second leg.
Yeah.
And they just lost to Roma on the weekend.
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like in a one-off game in a final like that, I would be more confident of Inter getting a result against Arsenal than I would have Barca.
Yeah, but do you not feel like the system that Arsenal play, like, bro, they suffocate teams. It's so hard, bro. You can't go around us. You can't go through us.
But Italian teams soak up all that pressure, and they're still there.
Yeah, and they beat you in the group stage, 1-0.
Yeah,
Why that's exactly why I would feel more confident. Like, put it this way, if you ask me now as a Chelsea fan, like who would you rather Arsenal played in the final, Barca or Inter? I probably would say Inter for that reason. I get the whole, like, you know, obviously Barca on fire with Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski, all of it, but
even they got dominated in the second leg as well by Dortmund with Girassi getting a hat-trick.
Yeah, exactly, right? So for me, like, put it this way, I look at it as, like, to give a boxing analogy, it's like if you can be great with your punches like PSG and Barca are, but they leave holes to take a shot as well. And Arsenal will take advantage of that. Whereas Inter's that kind of defend the boxer who's got very tight defence and is giving you very little targets to hit.
Yeah.
I feel like that would work better against Arsenal.
But also, do you not think if it came to a final, do you not think let's say Arsenal's already through, and they're on one side, would you not think Barcelona would be the better club to make that step up in the final because of how many big occasions they've been in?
I just said if Arsenal in the final and now I'm being given a choice, right? Who's going to play them, Inter or Barca? I'd rather take Inter.
No, but I'm saying going by past history. So like, with Barca and how much they've won.
Yeah, but it's not the same team.
And it's not the same team, but it's a one-off game, and with the experience they have,
I don't know.
It's a major game.
That experience for me, that doesn't correlate because had it been the same team that's now reached another final, I'd say okay, fine. You know, they can soak up that pressure, right? But it's essentially a new young team. So whether they've been there in the past, it's a completely new batch of players.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And they also for Barca's game tomorrow, no Lewandowski as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think he's either injured or suspended. Right? I can't remember, to be honest. But he's not there. He's not there for the first leg. I know that.